Hereby call this meeting to order at 8:31 p.m. Before we do roll call, I'll have our newly selected senators please come up for your oath of office. Here. All right, so please raise your right hand and repeat after me. So I, name of office holder,
Name Joey Rhonda.
do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of the name of your office
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office
of Valparaiso University
of Valparaiso University
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the interests of Valparaiso University Student Senate
and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the interests of Valparaiso University Student Senate
and the student body of Valparaiso University.
and the student body of Valparaiso University.
Congratulations, you are now senators.
So during the meetings, we can't talk, like, when someone's giving their agenda or something. Only senators can, like, give comments and concerns and stuff like that.
Okay.
Thank you. Congratulations. The only time that we can't talk is if they open up the floor to us. So
Okay, so we can't talk.
so we can, like, whisper to each other, or, like, in terms of,
All
like, if
right,
someone's
now with that,
asking a
Secretary
question or something,
Chudowski,
like,
please
you
call
can't
roll.
ask questions.
Here.
Here.
Here. Here.
Here.
Senator Dawson. Senator Lennon.
Here.
Senator Walton.
Here.
Senator Hernandez Garrity.
Here.
Senator Spring.
Here.
Senator Wilcoxon. Here. Senator Maldonado. Here. Senator Newman.
Here.
Senator Friesen. Here. Senator Westphal. Here. Senator Abraham. Senator Hildebrand. Here. Senator Ross.
Here.
Senator Wada. Senator Hernandez. Senator Williamson. Senator Ward. Here. Senator Patrick. Senator Hawkins. Here. Senator Melvin.
Here.
Senator Howard. Here. Senator Sedler. Here. Senator Flanagan. Here. Senator Green. Senator Velazquez. Senator Conlon. Here.
Thank you. So moving on, it gives me great joy tonight to welcome Associate Provost Lissa Yogan tonight, especially because of the great relationship that Student Senate has with the Provost Office, and especially because they play an important role in signing off on our new Constitution and bylaws. So it's very special to have her here tonight in the Provost Office. So if everybody could give her a hand.
Thank you, Ben, and hello, everyone. I'm honored to be here, really. I'm standing in for Provost Eric Johnson, who couldn't be here tonight, but I work closely with him, and I do want to echo what Ben just said. We really value the relationship we have with the Student Senate. To that end, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what I do in the office itself. I'm the Associate Provost for Faculty Affairs, which means I work primarily with faculty committees off of the Faculty Senate, so the close body to, your counterpart in many ways. Just came out of one of those meetings tonight, the Creative Work and Research Committee. And I also work with any other sort of faculty issues that may arise. In addition to ongoing work with, I supervise the Registrar's Office. I work with the Access and Accommodations Resource Center, the Writing Center, the Academic Success Center. I'm getting all the acronyms straight here. And also with some of the new programs. So a couple of things that are coming the way new for Valpo will be a summer bridge program this year. That's one of the initiatives I've been working on with Vice President Brian O'Rourke. Another one is a trial pilot program known as the Valparaiso Success Initiative. And lastly, we're planning some summer grants, summer camps through a Lilly grant. And that's another big project. All of these projects are designed to increase the exposure of Valparaiso University to different populations, bring different students on our campus, and hopefully get them excited about enrolling and being Valparaiso University students, as well as supporting some students who have been in it. That would be the purpose of the Bridge program. Another committee that I sit on is an ad hoc committee that came out of Faculty Senate that revolves around the Honor Code. And I figured this is one that hopefully is of great interest to all of you. And there has been circulating an Honor Council survey. All of you should have received a link to fill that out before break. I would really appreciate it if you would encourage your constituents to complete that survey. I think we have a fair number, about 250 students have completed it, which is great. But that's 250 out of potentially 2,000. So we could, I would love it if we got more responses. The idea here is not that we would get rid of the honor code. I think everyone believes that cheating is not a good thing, and we can stand behind that, but it's the process, the way that any alleged violation is handled that has been controversial for years. And so we're looking at that through this committee. It's an ad hoc committee that's composed of students, staff, and faculty. And what we want to examine are the perceptions, the way honor code is working and the process is working, and then see if we can make it better. That would simply be one of the initiatives for next year. A couple other things that we will be working on is getting a discussion started again around general education. There was a new proposal that faculty had created a few years ago, but it got put on hold when COVID came and other things. And we have to look at the strategic plan and figure out what we're saying we're doing and where we're going, but then see if our general education program lines up with that. So if anybody has thoughts on general education, I would welcome those. I would love that discussion. And finally, one piece of general education that also seems to gender a lot of discussion is CORE. I ran CORE for 2 years. I'm well aware of the different issues. We're doing a trial this semester of CORE 115 with some very specific different areas that you can go into. So not everyone has the exact same CORE class. It can be tailored by interest. And there was some movement about maybe doing that with CORE 110 also. If you have thoughts on that, I would welcome them. Finally, kudos to all of you. This is a really important night for you, and it's wonderful what you've done and how you've come together to revamp the Constitution and the bylaws. I haven't seen in all the detail, but I have heard enough to know that one of the things I miss the most about being in the classroom is learning from students. I always did. You always learn through the interaction with students. And as I've heard about your ability to make things simpler, make it so that processes work more efficiently, those are all things we could use. We're faced with some of the same dilemmas at the faculty level. So I appreciate the work that's going into this issue. This is a great night for you. And I want to learn more about how you got to consensus about doing that, because I think that's material and information I can take back in my work with faculty and at Faculty Senate. So congratulations on that achievement. Do you have any questions for me?
They're saving all their energy for the vote.
That's great. Wonderful. Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. If you could just give Associate Provost Yogan one more round of applause tonight. For your kind words. They have a lot of work into this. All right, so moving on with our agenda. Is there a public comment here tonight? Anybody wishing to speak? All right, moving on to approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve or amend the agenda for tonight?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, moving on to senators' reports. Are there any senators' reports tonight? Senator Flanagan.
Hello, everyone. It is Women's Empowerment Week this week, and there's events pretty much every day. The schedule is on Bethel Cassell. There might have been an email sent out as well, but there's different events such as like different speakers from different departments, like the health science department, UPC. Even on Thursday, there's self-defense training that's being put on by Booty, and on Saturday there's a men's dodgeball tournament, I believe it is. And then also throughout the week, there's going to be tabling downstairs on the Union. Well, we're on the Union, but downstairs pretty much they're selling buttons and T-shirts. So, come out to these events, just support women in your lives, and just learn some new things. Thank you, and report.
Thank you, Senator Flanagan. Are there any other senators reports tonight? Senator Buckring.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to give one last reminder about Dance Marathon. It is happening on April 2nd and the registration deadline is this Friday, so please sign up.
Thank you, Senator Becker. Are there any other senators reports tonight? All right, seeing none, moving on to advisors reports.
We've been asked to not talk in the back of the room, so I'm coming up. Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back. We're so excited to have everybody back from break. I really hate it when students are not here. I really hate it. So excited to see everybody's face. So we have 3 announcements tonight. One, if you have a constituent, friend, or other colleague on campus whose ID got turned off before today, please remind them to read their emails and then respond accordingly. So that was done because of the COVID booster requirement. And so those students just need to submit that documentation. If they feel like they have submitted that documentation, they can just contact the health center. We'll work through it. IDs are being turned on during business hours between 8 and 5 as soon as we can affirm that we have that documentation. So if you have anybody who is sharing frustration about that, please have them work with health center and make sure that that documentation's been submitted. So thanks to all of you who have already done that, which is great. Second, we are going into what I would consider to be the very best time of the year. The weather gets a little bit better, and there's 89 events between today and May 5th. So a couple of things going on. Lots of our major university traditions are getting ready to happen. For those of you who are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, you have never seen a normal spring here on campus. For those of you who are seniors, maybe you participated in some of those things your freshman year, maybe you did not. But things like Songfest and SALT World Relief Campaign and the color run that happens, Dance Marathon, Leadership and Service Awards, Balfour Vibes, all of these things all happen in the next 7 weeks. So pace yourself, go to class, do your coursework, then go to all the fun stuff as well. But there are some really amazing things that are happening, and your peers have planned almost all of those events for each of you. So make sure that you're also taking advantage of the really cool things that happen at Valpo between the middle of March and the first week of May, because we're super excited about that. Finally, Vice President Janoyak sends his regards. He is out of town today, but he did write a message that he wanted to have read to you all in preparation for your vote this evening. So I'm going to read like I'm him. I'm not. So it's lengthy, so everybody hold tight. Okay, here we go. At the beginning of this year, I challenged the Student Senate leadership to update and take care of its own house, from the inside out, and to renew it. To undertake and have its own renaissance by building a more efficient, effective, and student-centered, not policy, bylaw, or rule-centered government by students, for students. My goodness, I am so proud of you all and the amazing work you have done together to rebuild, re-energize, reconstitute, restore, renew, and revision the future of student government and your organization for the future at Valparaiso University. The Student Senate was trying to do today, what Student Senate was trying to do, today's work with a 20-plus-year-old set of tools, processes, policies, and bylaws, which in turn created a 20-year-old mode of operation and a worn-out culture and approach. Now you have prepared the Student Senate for a new and better future, one that it could not pursue without all of your hard, detailed, and excellent work that you have done so far this year. Tonight is a major accomplishment, and it's a legacy It's your legacy that will stand for years to come. You have shunned complacency and the tired, old, lazy work ethic and the lack of duty or calling, often characterized as the, well, this is how we've always done it mantra that far too many of us cling to like a blanket of fear and comfort. Instead, you have taken up the challenge, dug into the work, put in the time, detail, and effort, and as a result, you have changed the entire Student Senate for the better, and you have made history by defining your own future. This is the stuff of leadership. You've heard me say this before, and it is a truism. I've never once ever heard someone define leadership with the phrase status quo. Leadership is defined and characterized by change. That is what leadership is all about. With this lens, the witness of your colleagues and your advisors, and with this new outcome and preparation for a more engaged and meaningful student government focused on the bigger issues, as you have fixed almost all of the other ones. You have led, you have created change, and you have provided the bedrock of a stronger culture and operations for the Student Senate at Valparaiso University. And by extension, for positive impacts on a holistic student experience at Valpo, our treasured university. Well done, leaders. We're very proud of you. And report.
Thank you so much, advisors. Thank you to Vice President Genoa for his kind, many words. And thank you so much for Dr. Whittier and Dean Blevins for all of your help over these past 7-8 months putting these together. We're really excited to put this into fruition tonight. All right, so moving into officers' reports. President Ford.
All right, first of all, I want to welcome our new senators. I'm so excited that you're here to witness such a historical night. And as always, if you're ever interested in learning more about Student Senate or just want to have a chat, I'd love to get coffee. So you can always email me if you'd like to do that. I'd love to get to know you a little bit more. My only thing is I was made aware that the Indiana Commission for Higher Education is seeking applicants for the next student commission member position. The student member who will be appointed by Governor Eric Holcomb will serve on the commission from July 2022 to June 2024. This is something that I figured you guys might have some interest in. So if you are interested in learning more, the link is in our minutes online, and I can get you in contact if you have more questions with an individual who has more information. All right, report.
Thank you, President Ford. Moving on to my report. I will be reading through all of your constituency reports that you sent to me right before break this week and putting that all into one main report. I'm sorry, the week before spring break, as you can probably tell, was very, very busy, as was spring break. So I will be getting to that this week and sending that out to all of you, as well as administrators on campus. So this came up in our exec meeting today. E-Board will most likely be taking over as an interim elections committee this semester within the transitional period. We are all seniors on the E-Board, so we have absolutely no stakes in any of the elections happening. So we'll most likely be that interim committee, and we'll be working on an elections timeline beginning this week, and hopefully we'll have something to put together for next week. Our last meeting will be May 2nd this year. We will inaugurate the 2022-2023 full Student Senate, E-Board members, and General Assembly that night. So that means after tonight, there will be 6 meetings left. Why do I tell you this now? If you have any work that you're doing, Senate resolutions, anything else, please start getting that in. Please start getting that taken care of with the exec committee and putting it here. We will also be doing budgeting that Senator Brizo will be talking about tonight. So time is waning. So if you guys want to get some stuff done, now is the time to do it with the 6 meetings for me. Lastly, I just want to quick go over what the vote will look like tonight. So if any of you have any friendly amendments or amendments that you want to make tonight for new bylaws and constitution, since we do not have a sole sponsor for these, since this is work of everybody. Each amendment or friendly amendment that comes up tonight will be a 2/3 vote of the General Assembly. So just be mindful of that. That is all I have unless anybody has any questions. Seeing none, we'll be moving on to Secretary Schaus. PRC Grimby.
Hello, everyone. So Vice President Jacobs and myself have been working with DesignWorks in trying to get us a fun Student Senate logo to be used. On some of our advertisements, we just kind of use the boring one that IMC gave us, even though I do like that for professional usage. I would like us to use a more fun logo in some of our advertisements. So these are the different color patterns of the design, just so everyone's aware. Cool. Any questions about that? Oh, yes. So also, this logo will be put on our window as well. There's going to be a new window decal that we are ordering, and hopefully we'll get it to us by the end of the semester. Other things on my agenda, I will be starting the student organization highlights this week. So for anyone who filled out that form that I sent out last meeting, I will start to go through the student organizations that have been requested to be highlighted. And then also after this meeting, I'll be holding a mini press briefing with any students or student media representatives who want to ask further questions about the addendums, bylaws, and constitution that we're passing, just so that our message about these are accurately portrayed. Are there any questions? All right, and report.
All right, moving on to executive session of events. No report. All right, moving on to committee reports, executive committee chair report.
Today at our meeting, Dr. Kevin Gobert was able to discuss the school's strategic plan, which they are currently putting together a version of. So we were able to talk a little bit about what was going into that. And this is the strategic plan basically guides how the school operates and where they put their money. So it was really great to talk to them today.
Thank you, President. Before moving on to finance committee chair Parisa.
Hello, everyone. A couple of things. First, the student organizations will be receiving a budgeting email from myself tonight after this meeting, or at latest tomorrow morning. And that will contain all the details about timelines, which I'll mention a little bit, how to submit budgets, and everything that they would need to know. The timeline, just to briefly go over it, April 4th will be when special interest organizations, well, hopefully, once the new model is passed, April 4th will be the special interest organization budget due date. And then April 11th will be when the programming, media, and a club sport commission budgets are due. April 18th will be when finance committee presents the budget slate to the student senate. And April 25th will be when we vote. We have gotten some concerns about our new financial model from specifically the outer ring organizations. If you are part of those organizations, if you have constituents that are, please know that something will go out soon, hopefully to address those concerns and work out a path to move forward. So know that it's coming. Are there any questions at this time? Seeing none, and report.
Thank you, Senator Parizo. Moving on to administration committee chair Flanagan.
No report.
All right, moving on to committee on media chair Williamson.
Now that we're back from spring break, we are working very actively and diligently to set up our interviews for the new heads of the media organizations. So hopefully we will have that done very soon and be able to announce who the new heads will be.
Thank you. Moving on to screening committee chair Godfrey.
I just wanted to let all of you know that with elections coming up in the coming weeks, one of the things my committee is working on specifically is retention. So I will be reaching out to current senators, asking them if they're planning on running for position and for the coming year, as well as what were some of the highlights for Senate or things we could improve on.
Thank you, Senator Zachary. Moving on to Committee on Residence, Chair Abraham. Moving on to Dining Services, Chair Dallison. Looks like there's no report. So moving on to Diversity and Inclusion, Chair Howard. Discretionary Funds Committee, Chair Bob.
No report.
All right, moving on to new business, there is none. So moving on to old business. Before we get to our new constitution and bylaws, we do have SR 002, spring 20. So if the sponsors of that SR want to come forward, and we'll move into, I suggest a motion to discuss. Is there a motion to discuss?
Motion to discuss.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor to, or discussion's now open.
So that's a motion for them to discuss
so-
whatever they want. Yeah, go ahead.
We have the proposed SR, asking for a couple of these sidewalks. We have the illustration we showed last
They
time.
have to get introduced 1 week. So this was introduced.
Yeah, it was before.
Spring break. Okay. And then
So did anybody have any
I think
questions
it's voted on, discussed the next
about?
meeting. Okay.
Yes, Nick.
You know exactly the process for moving us along with the timeline of the sidewalks might be?
Defer that to
So this will go to campus space and planning, it will go to facilities management, it will go to President Media, and also request that all aspects of it. His office as well, so as soon as it gets to those offices, there's no telling from our side how long that will take. They'll probably put into an investigation of how much it will cost and when the ground is ready. So hopefully it will come into discussion over the summer and be resolved potentially in the fall, but again, that's just the idea. Are there any other questions, concerns? Motion to vote. Motion to vote. Second. Favor vote. All opposed? Any abstentions? All right, all in favor of approving SR 002 spring 20, please raise your placards. All right, all opposed? Any abstentions? SR 002 passes 24-0. Congratulations, sponsors. All right, moving into what you've all been waiting for. I suggest another motion to discuss. Is there a second? Discussion is now open. Are there any questions, concerns, friendly amendments? Anything? Senator Dockery?
vote to open the floor, please.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor of opening the floor to the executive board, please say aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? The floor is now open to the executive board.
All right, so I did not get around to including this when we were editing this originally, but for the reapportionment committee, I was the last reapportionment chair. So that's why I included this friendly amendment to make this committee required to assemble every 3 years. Before the old bylaws, it was every 2 years, and I thought that was kind of tedious. But I think it's essential that the committee is forced to assemble every 3 years, simply because we're a political entity, and so we should reevaluate ourselves accordingly. There's some years that our constituencies might change, or we feel like that there's some that might get added. Almost the last 3 reapportionment committees, I believe, included some sort of changes to constituencies. So I just think it's kind of important that we take a look and evaluate ourselves, or forced to evaluate ourselves. I'm open to questions, or if anyone has any further comments about that.
So PRC Grimke has put onto the floor a motion to change the language for the reapportionment ad hoc committee from meeting whenever is needed to meeting every 3 years. Is there a motion to adopt, or is there a second? All in favor of adopting this motion, please raise your placards. All right, all opposed? Any abstentions? All right, the motion has been adopted, 24-0-0. All right. We can go one by one. Is there any amendments or friendly amendments to the Constitution? Seeing none, are there any amendments or friendly amendments for the bylaws of the Valparaiso University Student Senate? Seeing none, are there any amendments or friendly amendments for any of the addendums 1 through 9 or 8? All right, seeing none. Since these are very important documents, we will vote on them one by one. Addendums will be included in the bylaw vote. So just constitution bylaws. All right. Is there a motion to vote on the new constitution of Student Senate? Is there a second? Second. All in favor of voting, please say aye.
Aye.
And all opposed? Any abstentions? All in favor, and this is a 7/8 vote, all in favor of approving the new constitution of the Student Senate, please raise your placards. All opposed? Any abstentions? The new constitution is passed 24-0-0. Congratulations, everyone. All right, moving on to the new bylaws of the Valparaiso University Student Senate and all accompanying addendums from 1 to 8. Is there a motion to vote? Is there a second? All in favor of voting, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Any abstentions? All in favor of approving the new bylaws of the Valparaiso University Student Senate and accompanying addendums 1 through 8, please raise your placards. Any abstentions? All opposed? Sorry. All right. The new bylaws and accompanying addendums have been passed 24-0-0. So congratulations, everyone. It may not seem like it, but this is a very momentous and historical occasion. This is the first new constitution and bylaws that the Student Senate has had in probably over 30 years. So congratulations to all of you on your very hard work. A lot of you have put months and months of work into this. So congratulations, really, all of you. So moving forward, it will now be a transitional period with the new constitution and bylaws adopted. What this means is that since we still have to follow the bylaws of this school year, we will be putting in pieces that have to do with next year. So what that means is the finance committee will be doing budgeting under this new model that we just voted on tonight. Elections will be going under the new model that we have, although it will be done by e-board instead of the outreach and elections committee that we just adopted tonight. And by the end of the year, that's the May 2nd meeting, instead of swearing in the new General Assembly in the fall, along with the freshman candidates, we will be swearing in all of e-board and General Assembly after this legislation period ends, and then we move into the new one in the same night. So that's what this transitional period will look like. Like Senator Bakri said, we'll be doing some retention activities. So hopefully we'll see all of your faces again next school year on Student Senate, except for seniors. So moving into public comment, are there any public comments here or on YouTube? Seeing none, moving into postmortem, I just want to say, as the vice president, who has to be the keeper of the bylaws and the procedures and all of these convoluted things that we just had in our old constitution and bylaws, this makes me so incredibly happy that we have procedures that actually make sense now, that I don't have to tell you, no, I don't think we can do that according to our bylaws. We can actually do some of these things now. So I'm very, very, very appreciative to everybody who has worked hard on this over the past 8 months. So thank you all of you. I will welcome anybody up that wants to say any words. President Ford?
I'm good.
No.
I said my piece. No, like Ben said, I am just so thankful for all of you who have put in so much hard work, and I'm thankful for all the new senators who are willing to embark on this journey with us. I'm really looking forward to how the future Senate operates and all the changes that they're able to make, and hopefully it's a lot easier to make those changes than it has been in the past. So yeah, I'm just very thankful, and it's fun to see how everything has evolved in 4 years here, and I can't wait to see all the changes we make in the future.
Thank you, President Ford. Is there anybody else that wants to come up and say any words? All right, seeing none. Now we move into the implementation period, so look forward to that. All right, is there a motion to adjourn? Is there a second? All in favor of adjourning, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? I hereby call this meeting to an end at 9:00.